In this video, you're going to discover how your beliefs create your life. What did Henry Ford say? If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Now, most people think, oh, what's that mumbo jumbo? What does that even mean? And I'm going to unpack it. I'm going to show you how the way you think about life, the way your beliefs, they actually create what you actually become. Most people, they hear it and they just nod and they just go, they move on with their day. Never let it land. Right now, somewhere there's a person earning $800 a week who cannot picture themselves earning $5,000 a week. Not because the opportunity is not there, not because the market isn't there, not because the information isn't there. It's on their phone, right? It's free, it's everywhere. They can't picture it because they can't believe in themselves. They won't let themselves believe it. And here's what nobody told you. Your beliefs are not a reflection of your potential. Your beliefs are the boundary line drawn around your potential. And you can't not cross a line that you don't even know that you drew. Now, I'm going to write 3 words on the board. Ready? What's this one? Believing. All right, you got it. Okay. What about this one? Believing. All right, you got it. All right, you won't get this one. Ready? Believing. All right, say it with me. Believing, believing, believing. You will be living what you're believing, even though you be lying. What does that mean? Everything you tell yourself about a future outcome is a lie. What do you mean? Well, think about it. When you say, I'm going home, I finished work, I'm going home for the day. Well, that is a lie, right? Because you might not make it home. But we say it with such confidence. We say it with such certainty. There's not a doubt in our mind. We just say, we're going home. It's determined. But when it comes to things like building wealth or starting a business, building a new product line, what do we say? We sabotage ourselves. We say, I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to do investing. I'm going to try something new. What is that word try anyway? What does it even mean? You're either doing it or you're not doing it, right? So anything you tell yourself about a future outcome, you've made it up. So why don't we tell ourselves extravagant lies that could become true? I am going to become a multi-millionaire. I am going to build a successful business. I am going to leave wealth to my children's children. Why not? Because that actually reinforces our belief. So today I'm going to hand you a framework on one word, belief. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which beliefs have been quietly ruining your life and which ones are going to run your life, your money, your results, without your permission. Stay with me because this is not motivation. This is mechanics. Okay. Most people think success is strategy. Get the right plan, get the right numbers, get the right connections, and boom, you're wealthy. I'm not going to tell you strategy doesn't matter. It matters, but strategy sits on top of something. Strategy sits on top of belief, who you believe you are. And if the foundation is cracked, if it's starting to crumble, the building itself will fall, right? So you need to work on the foundation. So here's your promise for the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We're going to walk through 6 forces: beliefs, expectations, language, identity, evidence, and faith. And each one builds on the last. And when you understand how they connect, you're going to see exactly where your ceiling is and how to overcome it. Okay. B. Beliefs creates boundaries. Let's start with B. Beliefs create boundaries. Here's the principle. You don't rise to your potential. You rise to your beliefs. You don't rise to what you're capable of. You rise to what you've decided you're capable of. And those two numbers are very different. They're very different perspectives. Go back to the person owning $800. Give them a $5,000 a week opportunity, hand it to them, put them on a silver platter, and watch what happens. They'll find a reason to shrink, sabotage it, or walk away from it. Not because they're lazy, not because they're not smart enough, because $5,000 a week doesn't fit inside their identity. They'd want to earn it. They want to. The Bible says it plainly, the way a man thinks in his heart, he is. So not that he's trying to be, so he is, right? Your thinking isn't describing your life. Your thinking is constructing your life, one decision at a time in real time, right now, while you're watching this. And here's what I need you to understand. Your beliefs are neutral. Sorry, they aren't neutral. They're just opinions floating around in your head, doing nothing. Every single belief you carry is either a wall or a door. And most people have never done an audit. They just believe the things, right? They just believe the things that mum taught them. They believe the things that dad taught them. So ask yourself right now, what's a number, a title, a version of your life that if you had it in 5 years, you would laugh at yourself? That's not a fantasy, that's a boundary line. And your boundary line can move only after you admit they exist. Okay, E. So we've got boundaries. E. Expectations. Expectations shape boundaries. Shape actions. Here's the mechanism. If you don't expect success, you'll never prepare for it. And if you never prepare for it, it will never show up. If I say to myself, if I start a business and it's going to fail, that's my expectation. I'm setting myself up to fail. If I write a book and I think, oh, I'm going to sell 100,000 copies, I can't wait, that's my expectation. I've written a book. You can get it at brokenneckunbrokenwealth.com. That's my ebook, right? And it has the potential to sell hundreds and thousands of copies. I haven't done it yet, but it has the opportunity to. This video has the opportunity to go to hundreds, tens, thousands, millions of views. It hasn't yet, but it has the potential to. And that's why I'm doing this, because these things have the potential. Because if you don't build the container to hold it, think about investing. Most people invest thinking investing is complicated, too complicated for them. So what happens? They never open the account. They never learn the terms. They never take the first step. Not because investing is actually that hard. It's not, right? When you first learned to tie your shoes, it was so hard you took all your focus, right? Ever watched a 3-year-old trying to tie their shoes? It takes all their focus, all their energy. It's not complicated. Once you learn how to do it, you can eat a piece of toast, drink a coffee, talk to your wife, and head out the door and still tie your shoes all at the same time, right? It's not that hard, but we need to give it attention. It's because they expected it to be hard, right? If I thought playing an instrument was too hard, I would never try it. I've learned multiple instruments in my life. You can do it. It's not too hard. Before you ever picked up a smartphone, it was completely new to you, right? But you learned how to do it. Here's a phrase I want you to tattoo on your mind. What you expect determines what you attempt, not what you're capable of, what you expect. Two people with the identical skill set will take completely different actions based on nothing but what they expect the outcome to be. This is why some people apply for a promotion and some people don't. Same resume, same experience, yet different expectation. One person expects a yes is possible. The other, they're not even willing to do it. The rejection is such in their face that they're too scared to even submit it. Your expectation is an instruction to your behavior. Low expectation, low preparation, low action, low result. High expectation, high preparation, high action, high result. It's that simple. It's a mechanism. And it's dangerous if you don't take control of it. Okay. L. L. Language. Language reveals identity. I want you to listen, not to what people say, but what they're actually saying. Listen to the language they use about themselves when they're trying not to impress people or trying to impress people. I could never do that. I'm just bad with money. Rich people are lucky. Those aren't facts. You know, those people, they're just lucky. But they're telling themselves what their expectation is. That person's lucky, I'm not. That person's good with money, I'm not. That could never happen to me. It could only happen to somebody else. Every single one of those sentences is a person announcing their identity out loud. And then they're wondering why their life matches that. Here's what most people get backwards. They think their language describes their life. It doesn't. Their language is building their life, sentence by sentence, one small conversation at a time, until one day they wake up 40 years old wondering why they're still stuck exactly where their words put them. Words are not just symbols. Words are containers. And whatever belief you keep pouring into that container, you'll eventually have to live out whatever's inside it. So here's your assignment. For the next 7 days, catch yourself. Every time you say, I can't, or I'm not that kind of person, or that's just not for me, stop and ask yourself, is that true? Or is that just a sentence? I'm just repeating it. I've never stopped and actually take account of it. Okay, the next one. I. Oh, there's an E there. Identity. Identity drives behavior. Here's the truth that changes everything once you actually absorb it. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe you are. Two people can want the exact same thing, same goal, same number, same dream house, same freedom, same future, but in their identity, if it doesn't match the goal will always lose every time. Identity beats desire in a fight every single time. Someone who believes I am a wealth builder starts doing wealth building things automatically. They read the statement instead of ignoring it. They ask questions in the meeting instead of staying quiet. They put money to work instead of letting it sit there and rot. Nobody had to force them. Their identity did the forcing by automatic, right? Now, the opposite person next to them, somebody who says, I'm terrible with money, watch what they do. They avoid the statement. They avoid the budget. They avoid the conversation. Not because they're a bad person, because the behavior is loyal to their identity. Even their identity is lying to them. Even if their identity is lying to them. This is why willpower fails so often. Willpower is trying to force a behavior that doesn't match their identity underneath. You can white knuckle a new behavior for a week, maybe a month, but identity wins long term every single time. So if you want a new behavior that lasts, stop ignoring your behavior. Go upstream, change your identity, change who you are becoming. E. E stands for evidence. Evidence reinforces belief. And I need you to slow down for this one, because this one is a trap most people never escape. Here's the cycle. You believe you can't because you believe you can't. You don't act because you don't act. Nothing changes. And because nothing changes, you'll point right back at nothing. And you see, I told you you couldn't. And you say, I told you I couldn't. Proof, right? It's not proof, it's self-fulfilling prophecy, wearing the costume of proof. Your life became evidence for a belief that was never actually true. It was just never tested. You convinced yourself with a case you never let go to trial. This is the most dangerous part of the whole framework, because this is the part that feels the most rational. It feels like you've just been realistic, just looking at the facts. But you built the facts, you built them by never acting on the belief you claimed wasn't true, and then collecting silence as a verdict. So here's a question that breaks that cycle. Whose evidence am I actually looking at? Is this evidence from a life where I genuinely tried and got a result? Or is this evidence from a life where I never gave the belief a fair trial in the first place? Because if you never took a shot, the scoreboard doesn't count. Inaction. Faith. Faith. Faith creates new futures. This is where the framework turns from diagnosis into direction. Every transformation that you've ever seen in scripture, in business, in your own life started the exact same way. Someone borrowed a belief before they had a single piece of evidence to support it. That's why we go, that's why we read books. That's why we learn off YouTube. That's why we do something, because you're learning off someone else's belief, someone else's transformation. Someone else has already been there, done that. And you think, oh, actually, I can do that. You didn't wait until you own 5 properties to start. Belief came first, the evidence caught up later. Faith in this context is not a wishful thinking. Faith is acting as if the future want is already real, before your circumstances agree with you. It's signing up before you feel ready. It's opening the account before you feel qualified. It's calling yourself a wealth builder before your bank account is right. Faith is the down payment you make on the future that you haven't built yet. And here's the good news. You don't need to be a mountain of faith. You just need a small bit. Okay. So let's bring it all the way back. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Not because Henry Ford said it, not because it sounds tricky, because it describes a mechanism. Your beliefs determine your actions. Your actions determine your results, and results reinforce your beliefs. And round it goes, whether you're in prison or on a platform, depending entirely on what you decided to believe in the first place. So I'm going to leave you with one question. What's one belief you're carrying that's keeping you broke, stuck, or playing it small? Don't answer it in the algorithm. Answer it for yourself. Because that belief has been ruining your life, setting you up for a win, or you're on the treadmill doing the same thing every day, day in, day out. So, boundaries, expectation, language, identity, and evidence, and faith. Like, subscribe, all the YouTubey stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.